right. Hello, everyone.
Hello, CMS! And we are back with the fourth rendition of CMS Experience. This is your host, Sebastian, and I'm here with David.
Yep.
David, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you, my guy?
It's been a bit of a struggle this week in terms of, in general, it's just been a bit of a struggle.
Yeah.
No matter what, brother, we just gotta keep pushing onwards and doing what we need to do to succeed, no matter.
It is what it
is.
And with that being said, we're section out things a little bit differently this podcast, this CMS exclusive.
Oh yes.
And I think we're gonna start off by asking the little question.
Okay.
Does money buy happiness? And
Ooh.
I mean, generally, it doesn't exactly translate exactly.
Mm.
So, what's your take?
What do you think, Dave? Do you think we could buy happiness with money?
Not directly. You can get yourself in a little bit of a state of security, but not precisely. Just
right.
like, okay, lay down 500 grand. I'm gonna be happy.
Right.
But I'm not gonna be the entirety of happy.
No, exactly.
There's gonna be problems.
Yep.
For example, lottery winners, the few that do.
I
mean, that's pretty good case study.
That's an amazing example, actually. That's a great example.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I look at it is money doesn't necessarily buy happiness. It solves problems. But on the same token, you also create more problems with your money. Let's say you became a millionaire tomorrow. How many people would be asking you for money?
Tons.
That's exactly the point. So it would also close doors that you needed to. It would also open so many to a point where
it would be best to keep that secret.
Exactly, and that's why I feel like the rich hoard the money that they do. Albeit it's not always the best, in my opinion. They do what they do.
Of course,
yeah.
And it's hard to compare normal people to people who have that amount of money because they're like, oh yeah, the gap gets wider and wider. Of course it does.
Absolutely.
They're juggernauts.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't just go, oh, the gap gets further and further. And it's like, okay, so how do we fix the lower problems first?
Precisely, yep.
Yeah, all right.
I have an interesting topic for you that I found online. And this might be interesting for you.
Here we go again.
So, according to Jeff Bezos, he has put $5 million. And albeit 5 million is not a whole lot. That's probably, not even 1/10,000th or 1/100th of his net worth.
Yeah.
It's such a minuscule amount, But on the same token, it begs the question, does money really buy happiness? What do we search for in life? And here's the interesting idea. So he's putting $5 million to find what eternal life is. And as a firm believer in Jesus and somebody who has a strong Christian background, I feel like I should just give him that answer and collect that 5 million,
It's like,
but,
you want to try to find eternal life? Well, not in this life.
Yeah, exactly.
Currently, scientifically,
Yep.
people say, yeah, there's a jellyfish. That jellyfish isn't exactly living.
It's basically a hollow shell, yes.
Yeah. Article will be linked down into this.
Oh, yes, and we'll put it right on screen over here so you can see in the news article right there. Mm-hmm. What's interesting about that is the fact that no matter what, there is always that fear of death in life.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It always exists.
The richest man, Jeff Bezos, and correct me if I'm wrong on screen, but he can buy every country up until the 17 the top 17 countries with the highest GDPs on Earth.
Yeah.
And what's so crazy about that is despite being able to buy right now currently with his net worth over 30% of the globe, he is scared about what's going to happen to him, according to the news article.
Mm-hmm.
So that begs me the question, brother. What's the meaning of life?
Oh, geez. You throw this one at me now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So,
what is the meaning of life? What do we live here for?
If we come here from a Christian theology, and oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Relatively unprepared for this question because, you'd have to dive
Oh, so
deep.
many perspectives, man. You can look at the Buddhist, you could look at the Buddhism, you could look at Hindu, you could look at any
You can
religion.
look at
Every religion
you
has.
can look at people without any religion, and
Mm,
it's just the answer varies across the board.
absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And so it's all a matter of opinion.
Mm,
My opinion, it's like it's so hard to define because there's so many
mm-hmm.
aspects that I've
Mm,
yet to just solidify my knowledge on.
okay.
I mean, there's the glory of God
Yeah.
and praising Him.
Yeah, of course.
So far, that's all I can think of immediately.
Yeah. From a biological standpoint, the meaning of life is to carry on a legacy, reproduce, have a bloodline, a lineage. Now, the issue with that is you will never find true happiness. There's a very famous saying. There's a very, very famous saying. Um, I will be driving an Audi, my son will be driving a Porsche, and his son will be driving a Ferrari. Now, his son will be driving a Camry. Now, the reason that is because you know the saying, strong men create good times create weak men create hard times, and hard times create strong men.
I do see where that can come from.
Yeah, that's the whole cycle of it. So, on a biological standpoint, it would be to create a strong lineage. But from my perspective, brother, it's like you said, man. It's glorify God on earth, and whoever believes in whatever, that's up to you. But from us, and we don't hate on anybody who believes in what they believe in. That's our perspective. There's so many religions, like Buddhism. It's the path to enlightenment. In Islam, it's repenting of your sins and following Allah. There's just so many examples. But on the same token, that's what I'm
It's
thinking.
nuanced.
It's exactly.
Heavily.
Yeah, big time it's nuanced. Oh, yes. Now, here's a crazy question to go along with this, brother. And I'm going to answer this before you do. I do not. Okay, my answer is no. But my question is, do men deserve happiness? Do we deserve happiness?
Did a feminist word this question?
No. Actually, a
Who
very,
did?
very famous Bulgarian man did, who's very wealthy, multimillionaire. He asked this question in a podcast, and his perspective was crazy, interesting. Now, my question to you, Dave, is do we as men deserve to be made happy?
Everyone has the right to pursue their own
The pursuit of
fulfillment,
happiness, of course.
as long as it isn't like, oh yeah, let's kill everybody, kind of thing. The extremes.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. It's because it's so oddly specific.
It is very specific.
Does
but
everybody deserve happiness?
that's the good
That's
question. Does anyone deserve happiness in life? That's looking at it a more broad standpoint. That's actually kind of clever. Now, so we'll touch into that in a quick second, but the reason I say no is because us as men, we are in charge of our own happiness. Women, they find happiness in things they do. Men find happiness through the life they live. And this might be sexist, but this is actually a case study done where women typically find happiness in relationships and men find relationships as a point where they settle. So this is why the divorce rate's so high, because women are unhappy. So my thinking is, us as men, we're supposed to create the happiness. And every day, my uncle, he gave me a very, very, good piece of advice. It's do one thing per day that makes you happy. And then you'll look back and you'll never regret anything in your life.
Well,
My
be
question
careful,
is, what
because
do you
this
think?
also intersects with the aspect of idols.
Oh, absolutely.
Everybody can point to
yes.
that, which kind of just twists that study a little
Mm.
bit and saying, hey, if you have idols and they're horrible,
Mm-hmm.
they're horrible. Like, the trick is to not treat something, my video production,
Yes.
my own channel, to
Not to
treat that
idolize
as
it.
an idol,
Absolutely.
but to treat it as a skill
Mm-hmm.
and to not just proliferate that for my own gratification, but
Mm.
actually offer something. Like, for example,
Mm.
not mind monetizing yourself within the first 30 seconds. 'Cause it's like, people are going to see that, oh, I know what these guys are after.
Oh, they're going after the money, exactly. So my question to you, brother, is, As a man yourself, do you think we deserve happiness? And if you do, how do we deserve it?
Now, if you say deserve as in you mean instantaneously you are born on this earth happiness.
Right.
No matter what happened. It defines we have the right to pursue it.
Absolutely.
The right to it all the time, I'm pretty sure we don't.
Definitely
Because
not.
if you're only in the happiness state of being, you won't know what the state of the other side, depression.
Absolutely.
You won't,
Oh,
you know,
yes.
Going through a little bit of that can teach you.
Oh, it
And I mean,
really
it's
does
important
mold you.
also in that same sort of aspect not to numb.
Mm.
Again, a concept by more or less productivity theorist Cal Newport.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to numb.
Mm.
Now, what you can do, numbing has its purposes.
Yeah, of course.
But you don't want to
yes.
get yourself to doing that all the time. Like,
Yes.
for example, I'm depressed. Oh, I'm going to go YouTube, whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get yourself into the habit of doing that.
Absolutely.
And so, I mean, it's forging your own path in a good way, which also
yes.
is
It is very objective, but
it's
there's
stupid objective.
There's another very famous saying. Women, babies, and dogs are loved unconditionally, and men are only loved unless they provide something. And here's the crazy part about growing up as a man, in this society at least nowadays.
The American culture specifically.
Especially in American culture. As soon as you get to a certain age, let's say 17, 18, 19, around there, 20, you no longer are looked at as something fragile to be protected. You have to be providing. That's why parents...
Self-sufficient.
Exactly at that point. As a man, you have to be self-sufficient. Women could be self-sufficient too, but typically and more traditionally, women are looked after in relationships, loved and protected in marriage. In this day and age, women are trying to forge their own path like we are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we see high divorce rates and just unsustainable relationships.
Okay, well, at the same time, if that leads to people taking control of their own life, that's fine.
Absolutely.
If they have a good if a person themselves is good, knows what everybody's going to require, what's going to make a good relationship, they have the right to pursue that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Oh yes. The issue with men and women is we both grow
With each
differently and together. Yes, exactly. In a relationship together, but we do grow differently. Men grow through pain of someone that they truly love betraying them. Women go through the issues of finding someone that loves them for who they are. And that's the issue that we face. We all grow a different way, man and woman. So my question to you, Dave, is how do you think women and men differ in how they grow as people?
Now, what you laid out there is, of course, more the traditional, like, okay, we're going to study this scientifically, and of course, there's variables up your rear.
Oh,
in
absolutely.
that case, there's so
Absolutely.
many variables up your rear.
Yes.
But learn the most important aspect, and something that I learned really on is just to learn from experience.
Absolutely.
Like, things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Just take it
Just take it and learn.
and
yes.
just learn.
Yes.
Like, for example, I think the one time. It was my great-grandmother died at 92, 93, somewhere around there. I got to meet her for about...
She lived a long life, dude.
First 10 years of my life I knew her.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
So I was glad.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was really glad to meet her. And I mean, I cried for all, but it's like, you know what? What's in the past is in the past.
Absolutely.
And, he got Sebastian drinking his water. He got me
Yes,
doing
sir.
my own thing.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I mean, all right. Well, are we going to get on to the next section? But yeah, it's such a hard thing to go, okay, by the way, define. So,
Yes.
okay, so have you heard about the dinner with Jay-Z or the 500K business model or 500K question? Like choosing between those two?
I think I saw it on Twitter, but no, elaborate a little bit more.
Twitter.
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 But elaborate more on the question.
So it's basically, would you rather go out to dinner with Jay-Z or have 500K 500K business set up?
Yeah.
It's the question varies depending on who said it first.
Okay, so with Jay-Z, you can get a lot of insight, a lot of knowledge from him. He's in that place where if you were a musician or somebody who does video recording or anything like that, that's the most perfect thing you can do. But somebody like me, for example, who doesn't really have a background in anything like that, I think I would choose the 500K. But I mean, that the connections and the experience that you'll get from him is unmatchable.
Well,
money can't buy that.
Meeting the man.
Yes.
No matter meeting anyone high up.
Oh, yes.
And learning from their experiences. And a quick note on learning from experiences.
Yeah.
You got to be careful for what's called the red folder effect.
The red folder effect. Explain what that is.
And
Elaborate.
of course, this isn't even in the script, but I'll add it in. Red folder effect is like, okay, you ask a successful student, okay, what made you famous? Note my question. They say, oh, I colored all my folders. I did this. I did this. I did that.
So they basically give you the experience of how they became successful.
Well, with a little nuance. There's a little nuance to that.
Absolutely.
In the aspect, don't mind my mic adjustments, but in the aspect of, hey, you know, they can say anything. They can say anything. They don't have to say. They don't have to say what it actually is. They're just gonna pick something. Okay, what can I think of in this moment that led to my success? Instead of actually asking them, okay, start to finish.
Interesting.
What did you do?
So it's more asking questions and getting more knowledge than what we would typically do if we were
asking
to meet
it
this man.
through, asking everything.
That's interesting.
Saying, hey,
That's
okay,
a good
beginning
perspective.
to end, and leave it up for interpretation.
Right.
Analyze it.
Right.
That's what I usually.
That is really interesting. That's a great answer. That's incredible. Anyway, I have a question for you, David. So update us about the monsters, the monster situation.
All right.
What's going on with those energy drinks? Because we did
Channel section.
Yes, because we did say we would have a monster review. Every flavor of monster.
Monster graveyard.
Yeah, literally, it's gonna be ridiculous.
Yeah, it's gonna be ridiculous.
It's gonna be unbelievable. So let's get a little bit of update on how long this is gonna take. And
25 flavors so far.
Yes.
It's gonna take probably about the remainder of this month
Absolutely.
to get the video out and collect.
Yeah.
It's just so far filming, and of course, I did see the comments. You know, why you have that silly piece of fabric on your face? Personally, I'm not very afraid. It's like, okay, if I test positive, I don't care as much about the bodily effects. I care about, hey, I can't work.
For the record, he is not afraid of COVID. It's more under his parents' rules. So
not only that, it's like, okay, if I get it, I transfer it to other people. Okay.
Yes.
But there's also the aspect of my mom loses work for a while, like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's an issue that I'd rather not
since
risk.
you guys, like especially us, if we go out of work for even a week, it'll be miserable. So
It'll be miserable for anyone. Let's avoid that.
Especially nowadays. Exactly.
Let's avoid
That's
that.
fair.
And they're like, all right, it isn't even real. It's like, okay, buddy, we can go on to that on a different day.
Yeah.
But you got it. But yeah, that's just where that's coming from. Yeah, I agree. It's a silly piece of fabric. I'd rather be wearing a Pamper photo right here, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for that purpose. But anyways, keeping my air to myself. All right, so yeah, the Monster Energy, just pour it all together, see how it tastes. From 49, it's between 49 and 51 flavors. I have a chart, and we've acquired about
half of
50,
about
45, 50%.
Yeah.
And getting the rest is just going out Sebastian Doordashes.
Yes.
DoorDash challenge update. He DoorDashes, so he's going to collect them.
Yes.
And on to the next
DoorDash
aspect.
on the side. And talking on that point, it's unbelievably smart. It's such a good idea. If you're somebody who needs side money, this isn't even a promoted video, or I'm not even gonna put my DoorDash friend link in the description or anything. This is just helping whoever's listening. If you are 18 or older and you're looking for side work, if you dash Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you can easily pull between $600 to $700 in those 3 days.
If you play your cards right. It also depends on where you live, but
Absolutely.
sometimes the data doesn't vary that much.
Yes.
So just look through it.
Yes.
And see.
It's such a great idea. You can make like really good side money if you have nothing going on the weekend.
And make sure you have a car to burn.
Absolutely, yes.
To crash and burn.
Crash and burn if you need to. It needs so be. But instead of watching the Netflix on the weekend or indulging in all of these, parties or whatever people do,
I don't even know.
Free money, man. Shoot.
Not free money, but you get the point. It's money that's not too hard. You're an independent contractor. You're not relying on it.
Yes.
That has its own nuances and its own issues.
Yes.
But I digress.
Yes. My question to you, David, is through all of this garbage going on through life, give us an update on what's been going on with you.
Me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I've been working on my own channel, David Popowitz.
Right in the description.
I change it from the editor because I'm like, people know me as David Popowitz.
Yeah.
They go look up David Popowitz.
That's
if
way
I want to be
easier.
found.
That's way easier.
That's one of the best ways. But yeah, I'm experimenting with different content. And on that note, I did a computer upgrade. Oh yeah, let's film it. When I took off the cooler, which kind of sits on the main processor, kind of like the guts of your PC, I took it off. The processor came out of its socket with the cooler.
Oh.
The two of them are not supposed to be joined that
yikes.
that. No.
No.
And I looked at the bottom. I think I saw 3 bent pins. I brought it to my dad like, hey, maybe? Because he works on Hammond organs.
Absolutely.
He does intricate stuff all the time. And he wound up fixing it. And I was like, oh,
no
thank
way.
you. Saving me $400.
Thank you, Pops.
Thank you, Pops.
Yeah. Thank you, Papa.
Indeed.
Well, that's interesting. What else?
Well, there's that. Work is the same as usual. I work at Starbucks. I mean, we hit our 50th anniversary.
Yes. Congrats to Starbucks.
Starbucks in general.
Yes.
Yes. Hey, we're doing really good on time, too.
Yes, perfect.
So how about you?
Oh, brother. Real talk. Life has been kind of miserable. But not in a way that you think. It's more of trying to grow as a man and as a person. And it's through the daily fails and trials and mess ups and screw ups and just doing what I can as a person to grow as a person. And it just gets difficult, And there's also trying to figure out your path in life. That's going to be in the next podcast.
Guaranteed.
150%. But it's finding your path in life, and that's the hardest part about us men, especially nowadays. Like in the 21st century, where you can literally do something as small as being a sound guy. That job was non-existent 50 years ago.
Oh, 50 years ago it was.
Okay, a better example, a crypto miner.
Yeah, that did not.
Stuff like that, bro. It's crazy how many opportunities we have now.
Yeah, and all along that, people might think of, the Great Resignation. Look into the data on that. It doesn't seem like that's actually the case. People are leaving their jobs at a little bit higher than the normal.
Yes.
Media doesn't like to do that because it doesn't catch eyes, doesn't catch ears.
Oh, never.
But it's people leaving, opportunities come up.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Absolutely. So, David, you got a new credit card. Are you your first credit card? That is, you got your first credit card, brother.
Oh, joy. Oh, bliss.
And here's the craziest part, brother, because I remember when I got my first credit card, my spending limit was only $300. The fact, just explain.
All right,
explain
the brand of your
yours.
Say the brand of your credit card.
I had a MasterCard Capital One.
Capital One MasterCard.
Yeah.
All right. So I have an Amazon Visa credit card, the standard one, non-secured. It's not the business one either. And so it's, of course, first line of credit. I go to Chase and do it through them because that's my broker, JP Morgan. And I got through there and I'm like, okay, put the application in. It shows up as a hard inquiry on,
Interesting.
Because that's what hard inquiry is. You want to go for credit, hard inquiry. It doesn't stay on your record for that long.
Right.
But it's just like, hey, I want credit. And I don't have any credit, Credit Karma. Everyone goes when they want to try to show something.
Yes.
But that they pulled it up and they're like, all right, let's see. We need to get some more information for you. So Chase said, hey, we need to talk. I talked with them. They looked at my accounts because I say accounts because I just split things up into basic
Absolutely.
slush funds,
That's
just
genius.
to say, hey, by the way, this money isn't spending; it's allocated for school.
Absolutely.
That sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they looked at it and said, all right, we got you a line, you're good. And I'm like 10 minutes, like less than 10 minutes.
That's insane.
I had a line of
that is ridiculous.
2,200, which my father and mother were like, it's a little big for starting, but the kind of the average for a brand new account is 1,800. Now, that depends on what kind of card you applied for.
I don't know how many people watching has even realizes that it can go up to 2,200.
It can go up beyond 50,000.
That's ridiculous.
Dude, it goes up.
Goodness.
I don't know what the limit is. There's probably a basic limit.
So, yeah, as we assume so.
As I assume there would be a basic limit, but you can have, and I mean another part of the metric that is preferred on Credit Karma as some other things is to have 21 plus lines of credit.
21?
What? 21, of course. Credit age also helps. 9 years, optimal.
I need to
for
drink
credit.
after that one, dude. Oh my gosh. 21. Okay.
That's a lot.
Me personally, I don't like paying my credit cards off most of the time. I have a trouble paying off one, let alone 21, dude. Oh my goodness. And like you said, $50,000 per line.
No, you can get high lines of credit. It just depends on which kind of card you're going for and how much they will let you increase it. It's all depending on several factors.
Right. That's crazy to me. That's unbelievable. So what do you think you're going to do with your credit card? What approach are you about to take with it?
I'm about to take the small purchase approach. Like, okay, it's used for groceries. Because I did 9% of 2,200. That's about $198.
Oh, that's really decent.
So
wow.
I'm not going to use any more than that. And although you can fool around with it a little bit. Say, give a little bit of history like my dad suggested of, hey, I can pay this. I can carry a balance. And I can pay it off in full, and then pay it off in full.
So
carry a balance.
What you're essentially saying is, if we needed a new camera, the Sony A7.
Sony A7S III. This is a running joke now, by the way. It's not a business write-off, for gosh sakes.
It's all about getting tax exemptions, brother. Writing off all the taxes, man. Less taxes, brother. Oh, man. But, David, that's been an amazing episode so far, brother. And my final points to you is, what is going to come? What will people expect here very shortly?
Entertainment.
Yes.
Topics.
Yes.
All of them.
All of the above.
Feel free to suggest some in the comment section.
Nobody ever does that. We really need suggestions on what kind of topics we should cover and what.
And also, another thing added on to that regarding channel content. Mm-hmm. A first video is going to come out. First video in a while.
Yes.
Because I'm going to take you guys through like a 1 or 2 minute tour around the entire studio.
Yes.
In 4K.
Absolutely.
And so you guys can see that. And some of that gear is going to be linked down in the description.
Absolutely.
It helps us.
Yes.
If you want to order some, like for example, this mic, $35. If you want to attach it to a simple DSLR camera, mirrorless, it works very well for $35.
Amazingly
it's
well.
what's on Sebastian.
Amazingly well. And in terms of what we're gonna do apart from that, very, very shortly here, we're going to have a 2-camera setup. We're going to have this one on David, and then we will be running a media mod.
That was to say stop.
Oh.
2-camera, I mean, we can use the GoPro. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to have, but it's going to be a lot more editing, and I believe you got it.
A little bit, yeah.
I
mean, it's if I had a live video switcher, because there's things you can get for that. You can go back and forth.
You can just right here, just tap it on the screen.
It's not on a screen. It's
like a button.
You can either do that on devices. The thing is, you need to have something to intake
Interesting.
all of those, and it's kind of weird because folks, I'm sorry, I forgot the mic stand, so I'm currently propping it up on my Tascam recorder, which I use for quality.
I feel like a lot of it won't actually be caught up in here. the sound wise.
I know.
The ruffle.
I mean, I can make sure that it doesn't interfere too much.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
Absolutely.
so we're around 32 minutes, and I mean, we don't need to stop right away, but I can say improvements are constantly going to be made.
Absolutely.
We're working hard. We are now in the mindset of let's go, which
Yep.
I was excited when he said, "Hey, let's go get a podcast. You available tomorrow?" Yeah.
It's working, guys. So what we're going to start doing from here is we're going to be doing bi-weekly podcasts. We're going to be doing one every 2 weeks, and in the middle of the week, we're going to be doing a video like where I'm doing a crane climb, urban exploration, or another video of
My
that
video
nature.
quota is 2 per week, including
Yes.
my own channel.
Yeah, exactly. So he needs to put one up a week, and then we're going to put one up a week. And we're going to be taking that approach through both channels. And hopefully, brother, by the grace of God and by
Show me-
our reviewers, this grows.
Show me what we can do.
Yes,
I'll decide.
absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm also on a chair. He's on a thing of cat litter. So
Oh, let me
I'm
actually
here.
show everybody. Let me show everybody. I'm getting a new chair really soon. We're running the 42-pound kitty litter.
Yo,
Oh,
the 42,
The
kitty litter.
42-pound
seat?
kitty litter.
The kitty seat. The kitty seat.
I'll have a chair really soon,
Yeah.
just like it. This is good for my posture, though. This is why I like
This
it.
is me. This is good for my Yeah. All right. So on that note, if you want to look at some of the equipment we use, the list is going to be constantly updated.
Every time.
And I mean, we're going to have that video out in probably the next 2 days.
Yes.
Like probably before this, right after this podcast comes out,
Absolutely.
I'll work on it.
Yes.
And that won't take long. But it's going to show you guys what we use as a studio currently. And I mean, if we could rent a space, we would. But currently, right now, nothing pays the bills.
Yeah,
And
so-
therefore, it's kind of hard.
We're running a mini sauna house with a half bathroom and one room here, so it's working, man. It works, to our own advantage.
For now, it works. It works better than it did.
Yes.
I remember we had the wider angle.
Yes.
Yeah. And with that being said, I think we're going to end the podcast. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you,
especially
everybody.
especially those on the audio only.
Yes.
Audio only podcast is starting to gain a little bit of traction now.
I like that.
And
I love
thank
that.
you, everybody, for making this possible.
Thank you for
If
everybody.
you want to leave a like, subscribe, that's up to you. We're not absolutely shoving you. It does help to like and leave a comment.
Absolutely,
It helps
it
for the
does.
algorithm.
Absolutely.
I mean, if we deserve it, we deserve it. If we don't. And I also remember to put topic recommendations
yes,
and
please
all
give us
that.
topic recommendations.
Yes.
Yes.
And we'll always chapter these videos out. I have no problem with doing that.
Absolutely. Yep.
And with that being said,
This
thank
is
you all.
CMS signing off.
Have a good evening.
Let's go!